and welcome to KnightHunter Books. It's just me today, Bex, and I'm going to do my December TBR. So next month I thought I'd do something a bit different and focus in just on Chinese novels. This is for a couple of reasons. One is that I was randomly looking at the list of books I've read from Asia, and I realised I've read about 20 nearly Japanese novels and one Chinese, which seems a bit unbalanced really, so I thought I should probably do something about that, especially as I've actually got tons of Chinese novels which I've been really looking forward to and really meaning to read for a really long time. So I thought this would actually give me a reason to get round to them all. So this video is probably going to contain more books than I can actually read in December, but I feel like that works better for TBRs anyway, because then you have a bit of a choice. But also I'm really open to any other books that I might not have heard of. So if any of you guys have any novels you'd like to recommend, then please let me know and I can try and hunt them down. Especially one thing I am hoping to do this month is read some Chinese science fiction short stories. So if anyone's got any recommendations for any of those, then please let me know. So I thought I'd start with the books that are actually on my shelves, which is only one. The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu, which I only hauled this month, but I'm really looking forward to getting around to it. This was a really big hit in China a little while ago and has been translated quite recently into English and has won quite a few awards since then. I don't know that much about it, but I know that it covers things like conspiracies in virtual realities, and I think I've heard it might get quite dark towards the end of the series. It's a trilogy, so I thought this would be a good chance to get started on this, and it is a bit different from most of the other Chinese books I want to read. So the next one I picked up at the library yesterday because it looked intriguing. This is UFO in Her Eyes by Xiaolu Guo. This one sounded quite fun. It's centred around a girl who discovers a UFO that has landed, and then her village gets swarmed with national security and intelligence agency people, and she ends up on the news. But I think from the reviews I've read, while it has a funny premise and there is some humour in there, a lot of it is about communism in China and the political climate. This book also seems to be made up of lots of documents as well, and I quite like reading books that try to tell stories in different ways. The next book I'm considering, that's the end of the physical copies, is Galen in Translation by Jean Kwok. From what I've read, this seems to follow a young girl who's an immigrant to America growing up between two different cultures. This one's got really good ratings online. Now I usually like to read one YA each month, so I'm hoping this will fill that gap. The next one, which is a book I've been meaning to pick up forever, is Snowflower and the Secret Fan, which is set in 19th century China and seems to centre around a relationship between two girls, Lily and Snowflower. And these two girls send messages to each other on fans using a language that men don't understand, I think. From what I've read, this seems to cover a lot of parts of culture from that time, such as foot binding and arranged marriages, which all sound really interesting and I'd like to know more about. And it has ridiculously high Goodreads ratings. The next one is Red Azalea by An Chi Min, and is actually an autobiographical story. There's quite a few different memoirs about, but this one caught my eye just from reading a bit about the plot. So An Chi Min grew up in Mao's China and got to see firsthand how the country changed after his death. The part that intrigued me is that it sounds like she found a lifeline with a secret love affair with another woman. So I'm hoping this will be a really interesting snippet about what life was like in China over that time, with an LGBT slant as well. The last one I'm currently considering picking up is The Joy Luck Club, which is another one that's been on my to-read list forever. It's another Chinese-American story, following four women who all emigrated to San Francisco around the same time and formed a kind of club where they'd eat dim sum and play mahjong and catch up on each other's lives. And this story follows both those four women and also their daughters, and I've heard it has a lot to say about mother-daughter relationships. The final things I'm considering picking up are Chinese science fiction short stories. One book we don't own at the moment is Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu, which is a collection of a lot of his really great short stories, so I might dip in and out of that. But if any of you guys have any suggestions of other Chinese stories, then please let me know and I'll look into getting hold of them. I'm really interested to see how this month goes. I found it really exciting just trying to think about what I'd read, a lot more than a normal month. If this works well, then I might look at doing some similar things next year. I couldn't do it every month because there's always books that probably wouldn't fit into the right category that I'd want to read, but maybe fit in another few next year. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.